Howdy, Cowboy Gamer here, and you're hopefully watching another great Pokemon Go episode. I know some of my first ones didn't turn out so well, but hopefully this one's a lot better, and hopefully the people that do see it see the interesting ideas I bring up. Today we're going to be talking about trading, and we're going to talk about trading in depth and before trading even is available. Why? Because it matters so that top Pokemon players can start figuring out how to prioritize what Pokemon to look for, where good trades are, where bad trades are. This is not 100%. This is a rough start. I'm going to deal with a lot of different aspects, but I am working on a really in-depth, like each Pokemon move sets, priority level. It's not going to be a full list of all 150. It's going to be the top tier, probably top 50 trades, but I'm going to look at IVs. I'm going to look at moves. I'm going to look at legacy stuff. We're going to look into everything. So, this is really just for the top 10% Pokemon Go players, maybe even top 5%. The people that want to take advantage of trading and not make trades as stupid as a Dragonite for a Pidgey unless it's going your way. We're talking about looking at two different Pokemon being like, I think I slightly come out on the better side for this trade. That's where I want to go, making the good decisions. We're going to start off with theories. Trading has not been announced. There are things in the game code to do trading. There are a lot of theories going around, and there's a lot of programmers getting involved and saying, like, this is kind of how it would work. The first theory that has been spoken, a couple of different ones, but one person, FSU ATL, put out one that it is probably going to be a one-for-one trade system. This makes the most sense since it would be very difficult to set up like, I will trade your one Pokemon for my three. It is more likely that you will not get a exactly fair trade doing this, but more than likely people are going to be like, oh, sure, I don't have a Golem. I want a Golem. I'll trade you a Vaporeon. Not a likely trade, but just something. And it just sounds easier to be like, when you're looking at trade, here, I'm offering you up this Pokemon. What are you offering me in return? So that's kind of where it's going to go. Trade should be final. Once you do this, it's like transfers. There's no changing it. There's no going back on your trade. There will be, and if there isn't, this will be a really bad decision on Niantic's part, but there's got to be an appraisal system built into the trade. A person that's looking at a Pokemon can't just go buy the Pokemon. They need to be able to be like, okay, it is this Pokemon with this move set. Is that important to me? What are their IVs? These are things that are going to be important because otherwise people will just start trading off really bad Pokemon with horrible IVs, hoping to eventually get a better one, and that's not fair at all. There's been a rumor going around about people needing to be within 5 levels, trainer levels. So if I am a level 30, that means I could trade with level 25s or up to 35s. That is slightly likely to get fairer trades, but what is probably more likely is just being able to trade within 5 levels, the Pokemon level. So if a Pokemon, my Vaporeon is at level 10, then I could also trade for a Pokemon within a couple of levels, like of another Pokemon that's at level 8 or a level 12 maybe. It could be within 5, but probably more likely a little closer. This is more likely allowing even trades. If the trainer is just high level, you could just do you might not be able to get as much or a better trade, but if the Pokemon is, there is a better chance that it is fair. Plus, you could still trade at the either way. You could trade a Dragonite for a Pidgey, and if someone really wanted to do that, that would be a great way to do it. So I think the Pokemon level is a lot more likely. This also kind of keeps it fair of how many candies is spent. One of the key ideas of the trainer level being within 5. This makes it so the first trainer that's trading away something doesn't spend all their candy maxing out the Pokemon, and then it's let's say a level 30, and the person I'm trading to is level 25. It'll get there, it'll still be maxed out, but as the person then levels up their Pokemon to 26, there would be room still in there for more candy to be used. So this is just wasting a lot of candy. That's a big concern to people. So that's why I think Pokemon levels is a lot fairer and a lot more even. First thing, so that's kind of the end of the theories. Let's get into what is important for Pokemon Go trading. First and foremost, you need to have ways of evaluating your own Pokemon. Not in the trade mechanic, but you need to be able to look through all your Pokemon and you need to evaluate them. What am I talking about? Every single thing. You need to look at the appraisal system. You need to know whatever team you are. If you're on Valor, you need to be looking for amazing Pokemon. These are, say, when the person pops up and the dialogue starts, it says, overall, your Pokemon simply amazes me. It can accomplish anything. Instinct is overall, your Pokemon looks like it can really battle with the best of them. And Mystic is overall, your Pokemon is a wonder. What a breathtaking Pokemon. This is the top 82% of IVs for each of the 3 teams. If you want, go and get a IV calculator program or go to the website and start any Pokemon that's in that top 82%, appraise them even more and figure out if they're like top 95%, if they're perfect. And from now on, perfect is 100% plus 15 in all IV stats. So those are the best. You need to be able to know what Pokemon are which. Going along with that, you need to find a program that lets you look at what moves are really good. I have a program called Pokemon Go Movesets. It evaluates DPS based on each move, so that way you can find out what are good defenders, what are good attacking moves, and decide how you want to play it. Also, I recommend getting a program that allows you to attach symbols to the Pokemon Go app. When you're naming Pokemon. I use Unicode Pad. This lets me put stars on Pokemon or symbols, and this allows me to actually go in and be like, all my perfect, 100% perfect IVs get a star at the front of their name, and they also get favorited. So I am never trading these off except for high stuff, because these are perfect. They can't get any better. Well, they could if they had better moves maybe, but they can't have better IVs in any way, shape, or form. So these are going to be really good things to know first and foremost, because if you just go into the game, start trading for certain things, you might trade off one of your high or amazing or near perfect Pokemon for a horrible IV Pokemon without even realizing it. So you need to appraise your Pokemon first. Also, remember, as you're getting into this, no matter what some people think about the tiers, if they don't agree with tier system that comes into play as trading goes along, they might not care about that. They might just want the Pokemon they want. Maybe it's because it's their favorite Pokemon. It doesn't matter. Some Pokemon trainers aren't going to care about the moves or the IVs. And it's just not going to matter to someone because maybe they aren't even thinking about the top tier Pokemon or the best of moves or any of that. Maybe they aren't into the gym and all they really care about is filling out their Pokedex. These are all things that are going to affect moves and affect the Pokemon where they fall in the trading tiers. But you've got to keep that in mind because sometimes someone's going to offer what you think is a bad trade, and it may be amazing for them. They might think they're getting the best deal of the trade. Don't underestimate that. Use it to your advantage. You may come out ahead just because someone is looking for something different. Things that you really need to, when you're doing all this appraisal and evaluating and looking for things. Things that you really need to know. Pokemon you need to keep an eye out in your Pokemon or for trading. First and foremost, and I believe these are going to be the top tier of, well, at least the final evolution forms will probably be the top tier of trading. These are Pokemon with legacy moves. If you don't know what legacy moves are, these are moves that a Pokemon used to have in the game and has been removed because Niantic decided to remove these moves and gave them something else. Things like this are Gyarados used to have Dragon Breath. It has been removed and replaced with something else. Weezing used to have Acid. Koffing used to have Acid. These moves are no longer a possibility for those. So if you have a Gyarados with Dragon Breath, might be worth noting it and putting a symbol on it so that you know this is a legacy move set. Moves that were changed. Chansey used to have Psybeam, now has Hyper Beam. Gengar used to have Sludge Wave, is now Sludge Bomb. Grimer used to have Acid, now it's Poison Jab. Hitmonlee used to have Stomp, and that was changed to Brick Break. Jigglypuff had Play Rough, and is now Dazzling Gleam. Muck had Acid, changed to Lick. Omnistar Rock Throw changed to Mudshot. Seal Water Gun was changed to Lick. Starmie Psybeam was changed to Psychic. And all these Pokemon with Quick Attack were changed to something else. So Porygon had Quick Attack, it was changed to Zen Headbutt. Starmie Quick Attack to Tackle, and Staryu Quick Attack to Tackle. Also, Mudshot was completely removed and changed to Mudslap for these next four, which are Diglett, Dugtrio, Golem, and Graveler. If you have a Golem with, I believe, Mudslap and Earthquake, that is the top tier DPS Golem for ground-based attacks. It doesn't get any better. In fact, that is a higher attack DPS than is currently available in the game. So, I'll go ahead and I'll jump kind of to my first top tier Pokemon, but the top two are going to be legacy moves, no matter what. Golem, perfect IVs with Mudslap Earthquake is the number one best. It is the holy grail of all trades in Pokemon Go. The person that has this, if there are multiple, this is the one that you're going to want, no matter what. There's no way around it. I can't see any way that this could be a higher thing because it is the higher DPS than is currently available for the best ground set layouts. The other one, though, I don't think is second, but might be a little further down, but it's near the top 10. Gyarados with Dragon Breath and the other Dragon move, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But Dragon Breath was a legacy moveset. So there's a Gyarados that has a Dragon attack. This is no longer possible. This is also legacy. If you can have an like a top 82% or a perfect Gyarados with the double dragon, that's top tier. That is one of those, like, it's not the Holy Grail, but it's pretty close, and it is totally worth. Person that can pull off getting that, even a Gyarados with not great IVs, but has the double dragon attack, amazing. And you're going to want to hold on to that. Pokemon that also need to be considered. Pokemon that are new to the game. For those of you that have been paying attention, Ditto just came out to the game. There are people that don't have Ditto. Dittos are going to be in high demand for people trying to fill out their Pokedex that don't want to just go around catching Pidgeys and Rattatas all day long until they get it. Yes, they could put the time in, but they're just going to rather trade. 10-kilometer eggs. People want these for filling out their Pokedex, and I mean, they're not easy to come by. Some people don't get that many 10-kilometer eggs, and when they do, they get the same types of Pokemon. So there are multiple 10k eggs they probably don't have in their Pokedex. I even don't have a Hitmonchan, and I have tons of 10k egg hatches, but I don't have the Hitmonchan. So I'm going to be looking for a Hitmonchan regardless. Perfect IVs. No matter what moveset they have, people will always be looking for perfect IV Pokemon. Region specific. Of course, for me, I'm in North America, so there are tons of Tauroses. Though, It may be good if you were going to a different region. If I was going to Asia or something and I had a bunch of Tauroses, Tauros is going to be great because I'm going to go there and I'm going to just be like, hey, everyone, I have Tauroses. What are you guys going to offer? I better be getting a Farfetch'd and I better be getting amazing Pokemon. Maybe not Dragonite, but we're talking Laprases or something for all my Tauroses. So make sure you maybe save up some of those if you're ever taking a trip to another region. It might be a good thing. Also, region specific. If, let's say, you're in North America and someone from Europe comes over and they have multiple Mr. Mimes for trade, you get on top of that so fast. If you have to start offering Dragonairs or something better for Mr. Mimes, that's amazing because people in America probably aren't going to have enough money to go all the way over to Europe to catch Mr. Mimes. But if you're here in America and you have Mr. Mimes, you save one, and then all the rest get traded out, you're going to get a lot of amazing things. So it's worth trading off amazing things to get. Also, when for region specific, pay attention to events. Large public areas for trading. Maybe you'll want to set up a time where you just go out to a mall, sit in the main area, and just offer trades for a little while. If Pokemon Worlds, for instance, you might want to go to it because there's probably going to be Pokemon Go trading and there'll be people from all over the world coming to it. So if you want some of these region specifics, you might want to look into Worlds. If there's a Pokemon Go event, you might want to go to it. I already said malls, but large public areas where you can be around a lot of people that probably played Pokemon Go. These are things that you want to look into right away, just because this is going to give you the most amount of people that may offer trades and may give you the most chances of taking advantage and doing just that slightly better trade than the trade you're giving to another person. And that's what trading is all about. Yeah, you're going to get those every once in a while where you trade off the Pidgey for the Dragonite, and it's going to be awesome. But most of the time, you're just trying to get like that little extra, like 5% better than what you're giving away to the person, and that's always something to consider. When trading happens, don't start trading off your best things first. Let trade kind of work its way out. Let people start to figure out the first couple of weeks, the first month. Let people figure out what they think is the best Pokemon in the game. What is top tier trade value? If you just start off right off the bat offering out your best Pokemon, people aren't going to probably realize exactly what you have to offer, and you're not going to get the best value. Wait until the trade kind of stabilizes a little bit, people work it all out, and then you're going to be like, hey, by the way, I have this perfect Pokemon with these movesets. Who wants it? And someone's like, I'll give you a Dragonite because that's a perfect Pokemon, and it's not going to happen too often. Regardless of the moves, I want it. Be prepared for that. Especially Legacy moves. I've already gone through and I found 4 Pokemon with Legacy, including a Hitmonlee. When I'm going to wait, I'm going to trade off the Hitmonlee for something better because it has the Stomp, and not many Hitmonlees have Stomp. So I'm not transferring it out. I'm not turning it into Pokemon Candy. I am saving that because someone is going to care about Stomp regardless. So let's get into top tiers. This is my list. This is after multiple versions of working through. This isn't like this Pokemon equals this Pokemon. This is just a tier list. So I already told you the first 2 I think that are going to be amazing are the Golem and the Gyarados with the Legacy moves. Next, I will kind of explain my reasoning a little bit. You can disagree. Doesn't matter. This is my tier list so far, and if you find that it's pretty valuable and useful, comment, like it, whatever. Let people know that this is pretty good information and it might be worth paying attention to. Top tier, Dragonite. While when trading comes out, we may have access to Gen 2, we do not know, but based on what we have now for Gen 1, Dragonite, without the bird Pokemon, without the Mythics, Dragonite is the top tier Pokemon. It is the only dragon. It does the most damage, highest CP total in the game, and it takes 125 Dratini candies to make, which only come out of 10k eggs. Probably the hardest Pokemon to get at the moment. That's why it's number 1. Second, and most people will disagree with this, but I'm putting Lapras as number 2. Why? Because it destroys Dragonite. Lapras has a high defense. Ice goes great against Dragon, so while tons of people are trying to get Dragonites, putting them in gyms, it's good to have a ton of Laprases to beat down the Dragonite. Don't get me wrong, you're going to want some amazing Dragonites, but like as we get into PvP and all this, everyone is going to be running one Dragonite, one Lapras, and if they get to pick 6 in a PvP match, because someone else is going to put a Dragonite in, and Lapras is going to destroy that Dragonite. So Lapras is going to be high value. Ditto is number 3. That is because it is still new to the game. It is a one-of that you don't get multiple candies to hatch into something else, to evolve it. This is a random thing. I've been working really hard for multiple days, and I only have 5. And it's only been about a week since the Dittos started showing up. So there are still going to be people that don't have Ditto, and they're going to trade out good stuff for a Ditto. Gyarados. This is also kind of a Pokemon that's just kind of hard to come by, so people are going to be desiring Gyarados. Not the best moves, in my opinion, unless, of course, you have the Legacy moveset. The Double Dragon one, that's awesome, but Gyarados is still a pretty high CP in the game, and it takes 400 Magikarp candies to evolve. I'm a level 33, so I'm doing really well, but there are a ton of people over level 30 that still do not have a Gyarados. This surprises me, but I understand with how many candies it is, it's not easy for them to come by, especially in places that aren't along rivers and the coast. So, for people that are in this position, get some Gyaradoses because people are going to want it, and it's going to be a good trade. Snorlax, this is one that many people are going to disagree with. Snorlax is the second highest CP in the game right now. It's only got kind of normal base moves, so it's kind of just it's not doing super effective damage to anything, but it has good damage, good defense, high HP, and can still put out pretty good damage to anything. It's got to be a contender. Plus, it's good defending gyms, good attacking, whatever. It's fairly good. The next 3 are the starters. In order, Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. I know they don't have amazing CPs, but they are starters. Venusaur is number 1 because it is the highest grass CP currently. And it's a starter. It takes 125 candies for all 3 of these. These are the ones that people remember from Pokemon Red and Blue. These are the ones that people that started in Gen 1 saw, and they're like, man, I love that Charmander. I love turning him into a Charizard. I want it. People still don't have these, and people are going to desire these more than most of the other. Even though Flareon and Arcanine are going to do better fire damage than a Charizard, Charizard is a starter. People remember him. He was on the box art. He's the one people think of, so they're going to want him and the 3 starters more than others. Next 2 are top rock ground-based ones, Golem and Rhydon, in that order. Yes, I understand that Golem is a lower CP than Rhydon, but it also takes more Geodude candy than it does Golem to create. So that's kind of why I'm ranking them the way I am. We're definitely going to have to see how the gym scenes kind of flesh out after the new CP updates, but I still think Golem is just slightly more desirable since it takes so many more candies. Next 2 are Alakazam and Machamp. The reason being, these are the best Psychic and the best fighting Pokemon currently in the game at this point. There's debate on Rhydon with the fighting fast attack move being better. I understand that, and I would probably agree, but Machamp overall can have a double fighting moveset and is still the top overall fighting-based Pokemon that actually is a fighting type, not like a Rhydon, which is actually ground rock. Alakazam, while very squishy, having the highest psychic damage and probably the highest attack in the game currently, needs to be up there in your contenders list. While it may not be decided that you're going to attack a lot of gyms with it, it's just too good having the best psychic Pokemon in the game. Next two are the fossils, Omnistar and Kabutops. Both take 50, but Omnistar takes the cake because it is more rare to hatch from eggs, being the 3.8% compared to the Kabuto 4.2. So, Omnistar has to be number 1, Kabutops second. Arcanine. This one I've been kind of thinking about moving around a lot, but I think Arcanine has to be up here at this point because people saw Arcanine as the top CP in the old version before the CP change. It was Snorlax, it was Dragonite, it was Lapras, it was Exeggutor, and it was Arcanine. These are the Pokemon people thought about, and Vaporeon. People saw these Pokemon in all the gyms. That's what they attacked with. That's what they saw. While it is no longer that amazing, I think it needs to be moved up some because people have done so many gym battles and saw that Pokemon so many times. Their mind is going to be slightly skewed and will value it slightly higher than they really should. That being said, some of the others are going to be a little further down, but they don't have as good of movesets, and Ember Fire Blast is still really good on Arcanine, and it still does really good damage as fire. Next two are 10k eggs, the Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. Again, Hitmonlee is a harder one to hatch out of a 10k egg, so it needs to be above Hitmonchan. These are also 10k eggs that everyone's going to want one of at least to put into their collection regardless. So, and again, I should say, most of this list, actually this entire list, all the 10k eggs stuff is on it because 10k eggs are rare, hard to come by, percentages are really difficult, and people are going to want what comes out of 10k eggs for everything. Next, we have the 3 EVs, Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon. Now, the order I chose is Jolteon first because it is currently the highest electric type Pokemon in the game. Yes, it's an EV that some people would say they're getting sick of seeing so many EVs around or catching so many EVs, and they probably all have it, but a good Jolteon is definitely going to be higher than most, especially the other 3, and good damage. So definitely keep an eye out for Jolteon. Flareon, again, really high dual fire attack, and Vaporeon, again, is up there because it needs to be with its EV brothers and sisters, but also Vaporeon was still seen to such an extent in all the gyms, it's going to still be in people's mind. Even though it shouldn't be, it's going to be up there. Next is Exeggutor, a very top-tiered Pokemon that can have double psychic moves. So while it's not the highest with Alakazam, it has a lot more, has a higher CP, more defense. It's going to stand up a little bit better. Yes, it's got also grass, so it can be burned very easily to fire, but it's got some good movesets. Even the psychic Solar Beam is useful against at least one Pokemon, if not 2. I think Poliwrath is the main one you want to look to kill it with, but it's still fairly good, and again, it was a top tier Pokemon before the CP change. Next, we get into some of the weirder 10k egg stuff and other, but we're kind of looking at all the top tier Pokemon of each type, the top CP. Pinsir is next. It is the top CP bug Pokemon in the game right now, and it's a 10k egg, needs to be considered. Muck. Muck is the top poison Pokemon. Yes, there are other ones that can do, but it is solely poison. And it is almost near impossible to get out of eggs with only a 0.5% chance, and you need 50 Grimers to get Muck. Really hard to come by, really good to have. Next, we're going to deal with the rest of the 10k eggs, and in this order. Scyther, Onix, we have the Jynx, Electabuzz, Magmar, Aerodactyl, and Chansey. Now again, these are up in the top tier because everyone's going to need one for their collection. Scyther and Onix come after Muck because they are both used in Gen 2, Scyther and Onix. So definitely going to be super useful. Jynx, Electabuzz, and Magmar are all kind of similar, but Jynx is really starting to come up there with its double ice move. It's showing some really high CP now that it's up to a max of 2512. Electabuzz is not the best electric, but it's still up there. And again, these are 10k eggs that you might not come by as often. Last, of course, are the last two 10k eggs. Aerodactyl, which again, it's a 10k egg. You might not have it. And Chansey. Chansey has almost no presence in the game, so it's got to be at the very bottom of this tier list that I'm making. I would actually probably, upon further examination, probably put Chansey a lot further down if I add a bunch of the some more 5-kilometer final evolutions to this list. But since I kind of was just looking at top DPS, top CPs, and 10k eggs, and percentages of eggs, stuff like that, that's where I'm running with this. And Chansey still has super high HP, and if it had a higher CP value, would probably be a lot better as a gym defender, but it's still good. It's still going to be desirable, even if people just want one of them. But other than that, it's really not going to have a fighting scene. Maybe a little bit of a defensive, but who knows? Final thing I need to let you know about before we end this video today. No matter what, people may want to trade basic Pokemon just so that they can transfer them out for the one candy. Do not underestimate how valuable a Dratini will become as trading continues. People will they'll get the Dragonite that they want with the good moves they want, and they're going to want to power it up. And they're like, man, I've worked so hard to get a Dratini, get all those Dratini candies. Now I need 2 to power it up again, or 3 or 4 or 7 or 8, whatever. You need a lot of candies. So some people may offer out like Vaporeons or other Pokemon just for a single Dratini. So be aware of that, especially some of these top tier Pokemon. Charizard's not easy to come by, and is very difficult to catch even at lower CPs. Well, Charmander is not Charizard, but people don't get that too often, and they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, I really need more Charmander candies. I'll trade off some other stuff, even stage 1s or maybe a Snorlax, just for one more Charmander candy. So be aware of that. Again, for trading, don't just jump into trades. Yeah, if you see something that's too good to be true and someone is offering you a Dragonite for a Pidgey, go for it. Get that Dragonite. Who cares what movesets it is? It's going to be one of the highest CPs in the entire game for a while, and take it. Maybe someone's just super being nice, or maybe they have 6 Dragonites already. Jump on it. If they don't take a Pidgey, go, okay, I'll give you an Onix or a Jynx or whatever. Try small. Work your way up. See when they think they're interested, because someone might be like, I don't know if I'm going to get a better trade. I might take a not as a good value of a trade just because I don't think someone's going to keep offering me something for this Dragonite. But keep an eye out for those things. Hopefully this list is useful to you. Hopefully all these things I brought up will help you determine how valuable your Pokemon are in trade so that you make the right decisions when trading becomes a new mechanic for Pokemon Go. So, as always, this has been Cowboy Gamer, sign off.